Hello and welcome to today's stream. I think everything's working. Welcome. We are looking today at SemiSlickRacing Classic. I need to look up the name. I'm sorry, I just had to fix everything. Obviously, it was struggling, but we fixed everything. So there we go. Hello and welcome to the SemiSlickRacing Grand Prix Classics Season 4 finale race. Today around Suzuka. Last time around, which is a couple of weeks ago, we intended to do this race a lot sooner, but unfortunately, well, we delayed because there weren't a lot of races, and we thought it would be more fun if we could reschedule to a date where more people would join. So that's what happened, and here we are. Hello and welcome. There's a couple of flashes. I'm not sure if that's my PC or if it's just the game bugging out a little bit. It might just be the trackside camera, because I haven't seen that behavior in the roof camera. If it's a problem, we'll probably just stick to roofs, but that's how it's going to be. So, the context for today, championship-wise, honestly, I mean, there's still, I think, a decent amount to fight for, but we do have a champion confirmed in Alan Fry. Last time around, he clinched the championship, not with a win, with a third place, in fact, which is ironically his worst result of the season. Beaten out by Dustin, who finished second, and Gerald Schmidt, who took his first win of the season in a very interesting strategical battle. How's that? Alan Fry currently on the lead of the standings, of course, and will stay there forever because it's the end of the season. He cannot be caught. So that's our champion, a beautiful #1 Ferrari. Dustin finished second last race, is second in the standings, and he's not confirmed to stay there yet. It's practically a formality if he scores, I think, 7 points? I think he needs to score 7 points and then it's confirmed. Maybe 8. He scored 8 points. And that will be enough for him to clinch second place. Only challenger for the position, Gerald Schmidt. Gerald is in P3, 66 points behind Dustin's 75, which is 9 points away. If he wins this race with Fast Lap, of course, then Dustin needs to score his 8 points. But he does need to score a decent amount of points. But he's done it before. Crazy things have happened. So these two are still fighting, but they are, of course, on the same team. So the team is doing a great job. We'll look at that a little later. Our last race also, Michael did some very good work. He's currently in the garage, so we won't look at him too much. But he's currently 4th in standings, ahead of his teammate, Logic. It's also like, he's got 2 podiums, Logic. He's got good pace. Hasn't always been there to show it, unfortunately. 3 non-finishes, 2 of which were non-starts. So hopefully today he will have a good race ahead of him. Let's see what he's worth. Next on my list of standings, 6th place, we've got the Prost car of Domschka, who's also had a podium this season, but will want to add one. But today, you see there's a lot of people today. A lot of good drivers today. It's going to be a difficult task, but he has surprised in the past. So let's see what he can do. Randus, currently in P4. Randus has had some very impressive showings. It's been a bit, well, he hasn't finished 2 of the races, one of which he didn't start even. But in the other races, he's been up there. He's been fighting. So hopefully today we'll get another good performance. Behind that, I'm looking. I think this is the first driver on the standings list, top to down, that we do not have joining today. Ultimate Kaiser, who if he's not joining today, will be stuck on 31 points. Oh, I should also mention Michael, Logic, Donchka, and Randers are all still fighting for 4th place. Michael's got 37, and then Randers got 33, so only 4 points difference between those 4 drivers. So that should be an interesting fight to look at today, and I'll hopefully keep that in mind. I think that should be a good one to look out for. What else have we got? Well, after Chiesa we have JJ, the Ferrari driver who's currently sitting in the pits and has the fastest lap of the session so far by a decent margin. So I think there's a bit of fuel difference in there, or tyre difference. Nobody knows except perhaps JJ. He's either DNF, DNS, or had a good race. So good performer when he is there to perform. I think Canada, he didn't have a... Canada was apparently really weird and interesting, but yeah. Had one podium so far this season, will want to add another one, and I think he's got the speed, the pace for that. So let's hope for something good for him. And we have HCM, P10. HCM, like, my memory thinks, oh, HCM, he's alright, but has never had spectacular pace, but his results don't lie. This Jaguar car picking up 4 points, then 5 points, then 6 points, then 7 points, but with one DNF in between each time, 2 of which were DNSs. So today, very interested to see where we'll place, and I'll have to pay better attention to him. We've got Shmoo, who is standing P11 in the standings, but I think that's where he will stay at best. Actually, might very well stay there because he's got a big gap behind him. I don't see him here, so that's unfortunate. Got Chronicler Cuckoo, who I don't see either. Got the Crow behind that. Also, don't see. Like there's a lot of people, but surprisingly many that aren't on my list. We got Silver though. He's Silver. He's here. BMW Williams. We also got yeah. Got Hassel as well. I don't see him either. A lot of people we don't see. So we'll quickly go through the people that we haven't looked at yet. Limovier is one of them. Good pace today. Didn't join the first few races, but has in the last 2 races shown decent performances. I feel like so far it's looking like a strong one for him, judging by practice. Haven't looked at Arderick yet. Arderick, I'm not sure if he's on standings list at all. Might be a stand-in driver. Interesting where he shakes up against the rest of the field. PC Finch, similar story for him. The beautifully liveried Benetton. A couple of people in chat celebrating this last outing for the Grand Prix Classic Championship. At least for this season. They're planning to do more after this, because as you can see, there is still demand. This game blew up a lot in COVID times. People were sitting at home. Sim racing is a nice thing you can do at home. People did that a lot. This game came out around that time, actually, so it was perfectly timed for them. Had a lot of races because of that. As a result, a lot of people started driving, but actually, well, some leagues struggled after things went back to normal. This one has gone on pretty well. Let's go Game Tiger here. I feel like it is lagging a lot, so I might stick to the roof cameras and see if it's not lagging, it's flickering. It's flickering really quickly between all the cameras, and I think that might be a game bug. I might have to probably reinstall the game anyway after this race is over, just to be sure that I don't get that issue in the future. The Game Tiger is here as well today. Interesting to see what he can do. Manfred is also here. And we got Cuckoo, who just joined. Already pushing a little bit. Going out and getting a good feel for the track. The race weather could be cloudy until the end of the race, where there will be a light rain. And I'm not actually sure, personally, if that's going to be enough to force a tyre switch, which will be the interesting part. The drivers do have to stop regardless. But I think they have to do that before they reach the end anyway. So unfortunately, I think I haven't seen any flickering ever since we went to roof cam. I think cockpit cam is probably also fine. We can use that as well. But unfortunately, trackside is going to be a bit problematic. We can use chase, maybe. I think trackside is just the camera switching. There's something wrong with that, I'm pretty sure. I try to avoid it. I do want to, like, when there is action close by, I do want to have a good overview for people watching, so you can see how cars stack up relatively, and that's normally best in trackside, or a little bit better in trackside anyway. You can see the inputs on the wheel to keep this car stable after a small touch off the grass. So I've got good memories of racing Cuckoo around this track actually. Last time I raced here, raced again at all, I think, was in another league on this track. We were doing different strategies. I think Cuckoo was on a 2-stop and I was on a 3-stop. That's wrong, 1-stop and 2-stop respectively. So it was a job of catching up, trying to overtake. We were, I think, in a position of fight for the championship as well, so it was pretty important to do that. Eventually I overtook, but it was a 2-lap defensive effort. Very clever drive, very good in terms of racecraft. There's a couple of drivers like if you race Amos 2 a lot, or any racing sim with people, you will still trying to find a breaking point there too. You will find that some people you can race with really nicely side to side, but for some people that is a lot more difficult to do consistently. It's not even that they're being reckless, it's sometimes a bit of awareness, sometimes a bit not checking mirrors enough. So there's a lot of reasons, a lot of ways that things can go wrong, and we're not professionals, so yeah, things happen sometimes, but there are occasionally people that come around, very fair races and a lot of fun to go toe to toe with. And JJ, I do believe, might be driving on a pad. I'm getting word here from, I think, Dustin, letting us know that the tires will not actually. When they tested it offline, apparently they wouldn't last 15 laps. But now that they're online, and maybe it's because the track is more rubbered in. When the track is more rubbered in, if I recall correctly in this game, it just means that the tires get used less, which is funny. It also means that the track is faster, but also they survive better. Apparently they can just do the whole distance, which is good, but I'm not sure what the fuel strategy for that is. I think normally in this game, when you drive these cars specifically, the fuel's pretty heavy, and you need to refuel when you stop. Well, you probably need to. Maybe you can do a whole race on a tank, but your car's so heavy at the start you don't want to do that. Generally, I find with this car, kind of want to go for an overcut, which means going a little long, a little over halfway through the race, stretching it like 5 laps. And then when you stop, which will probably be later than most others, you will have a decent advantage. Not only because you drove on a lighter car for a bit, and will naturally be further ahead as a result. I'm gonna try trackside again. I do think roof is pretty boring. So you will have the natural overcut effect of having driven a lighter car, but also after that you will be on an equally as light car with better tires than other people. So there's things to think about for the drivers. What are they going to do? I think it's going to be very much determined by how they think the rain will influence their race. If they think it's too late and it's not actually going to force them on any different tire, they might simply stop in the middle. But if there is like even one lap where the intermediates are better, like significantly so, I could very well see someone do basically the entire race, stop, and do one lap of inters. Which is normally what you would kind of see if people are absolutely sweating their asses off on this game. If the race is pretty short but there is a mandatory stop, then generally they just race, and then on the last lap, or right before the last lap, they go into the pits. Swap what I need to. Alan Fry improves. Don't think this is a full blast for him yet. Won't quite see what the pace is of everyone until we really get into qualifying. We've got 16 drivers today, and that's really nice to see. I'm really happy with that. I did not mention the team standings. The team standings are a lot different than the driver standings. Driver standings will already have a champion. Team standings, we do not. Ferrari is 134 points. Jordan is 141 points. It's a difference of 7 points, and it's very, very easily crossed if Ferrari has a good race over the Jordans. I believe even, I need to calculate, you get 15 for win, 12 then 10, then 9. If it's 15 and 12, you get, 27? That's correct. 10 and 9 is 19. Yeah, that would do it. That would do it. That's probably what they want to do. If Ferrari gets a 1-2 today, it's their championship as well, on top of the Drivers' Championship in the hands of Alan Fry. But that does mean you have to beat Dustin and Gerald, who are both very strong drivers. Behind that, we do have Michael and Logic and Sauber in a fairly secure, not entirely confirmed, but fairly secure P3. P4, P5, P6 are close enough that anything can happen still. The Prost, the Williams, and the Arrows cars. And we've got the Jaguars on 27, McLaren on 24. So Williams and Arrows on 52, and Prost is on 57. So anything can happen there. 10 for Benetton, 6 for Bar, and 3 for Minardi. And a lot of that is honestly, determined by attendance, but for the top two teams, it's been mostly race results. It says a race completed, but it is really this session that is about to end. In a second, it should. There it is. Practice is over. And JJ sets the pace. Good start for Ferrari to have JJ in the lead. Quickly hop on board of a Ferrari, and I guess the right one. Go on board with JJ, whoever crosses the start finish line first. I will follow for a lap around Suzuka. We've talked a lot about the drivers, the championship, but we haven't really looked at the track yet. I normally say that for qualifying anyway, when the drivers are really trying to push the most out of their cars on this track. Really look for the limits. But JJ to look at, it seems. And it will be an important one. If he gets pole position, I think that will be the best case scenario for the Ferrari team in their quest to overthrow Jordan for the win with the WCC. It's already pushing it a little bit just to get a good feel for the track as it stands right now. The track will evolve. We'll probably see the best times at the end of the session. Always good to see what you can push. Okay, so the lap really starts on the exit of this chicane, and sometimes that's also the entry. So here we go through the Casio triangle out of the last corner. Modern F1, you would activate your DRS right here, but here it is a straight all the way until turn 1 without any assistance. Turn 2 is a little tighter. And get a good exit out of there. Use the curves, but not too much. On the grass, you lose everything. Then here the S's. First left, then right, then left again. Carry as much speed as you can. And through here as well. You want to line a little bit to the right. Just have a good run up for this one. Because this is where you want to really carry the speed. This has the longest exit out of any of them. Into Decna 1 and Decna 2. A little bit of a break for this one. Ooh, and a lot of gravel there. This might be too much for him. We'll have lost a little bit there. Into the hairpin as we enter sector 2. And through a very easy flat out section to the spoon curve. Line to the right, go left, and you want to align to the right again for the second quarter. Ooh, he misses apex quite a bit. So still some time on the table there. And then through here, through one of the most incredible corners of racing, 130R. These days it's not as impressive, and not in this car either, honestly. It used to be very, very, very difficult to get right. In fact, if you don't drive with an F1 car, it's a very spectacular corner. If you race through there, it's even more insane. After the chicane, of course, that's all you do. Across the line, that is P2 for JJ. Immediately overthrown by Dustin, who immediately goes into the pits. And Gerald Smith as well. So Jordan with the first shot fired. Michael jumps in between. Because why not? Honestly. Put a Sauber in there. Andre currently in 5th and Silver in 6th. But I don't think that's a serious time for Silver. Let's quickly see. And there he improves straight up to P6. 130.664. I think I know what happened with his first lap there. And of course we've got Damska jumping in between as well. I think that is the Prost car. Not go too much trackside. So yeah, first shot fired. But I wonder where is... That is not Alan Fry. Alan Fry jumped straight to pole position. I was about to click him. And as I did, he jumped straight to pole position. Very nicely done from him. It's keeping the Jordans a little bit at bay, but JJ quite far down the field. Goldsmith in P6. Just follow HCM on board. Last person who set a lap time at all. I think the logic will probably improve. 138.8 I think is an out lap. What can happen is, in this game, if you drive out, decide you need to change something in the settings, so you go back to garage and then drive out again, your first lap will be counted. It will not be faster, but it will be counted. It's a bit funky. Through 130R then. Very nicely uses all of the track to scrub as little as possible. Very nicely lined up. Just the curb a little bit. Do kind of want to use it, but if you Actually, not going so fast. If you use too much of it, it can destabilize the car, make it a little bit tricky. Cross the line then, where does that put him? In P11. Very nice job there. Still maybe a little bit ahead, Aldrich a little bit behind, and Logic is probably improving right now, so let's see what he does through 130R. He uses a lot more of those curbs and there as well. And took a little bit wide, but nevertheless a decent exit. Straight across the line, where does that put him? P8 ahead of Silver. There he stands, a decent distance behind Randers, who's doing a good job. It's one of those quiet powers he is. He's doing a good job today yet again. Is this an improvement or is he setting up for another lap? Let's quickly see. You're setting up for another lap, so this will be it. A little bit of slide there. The game doesn't really show it correctly. But oh, and that must be grass, but it could just be lag. I think it was lag. Normally you don't take that much grass without severe consequences. Oh, I think he's lost too much time anyway and decided to abandon that. I do want to quickly see, Gerald Smith in P2 and JJ in P3. As we were quickly looking down the field, on the top everything has happened. Dustin improves to P3. It's a 129.4 from him. 128.5 by Alan is gigantic though. That is an insane time compared to the rest. And people will struggle to beat that. Although Damska is already making inroads. Really overtaking some of the main contenders for today's race. JJ then, we do need JJ to show up with a enormous lap to give Ferrari as much of a buffer as possible. Gonna be difficult because Dustin and Gerald are both very, very strong racers, and Domska and others, to be frank, can absolutely ruin it. But JJ, there you go, P2. Still way behind Alan because that lap must have been absolute madness. But P2, Ferrari 1-2 as it stands. Where's Dustin? He's nowhere near finishing, and neither is Gerald. It also doesn't look like they're pushing too much. Might just be setting up. They might be pushing, who knows. Randers and Michael are in their little battle for themselves. They're very close to each other, but quite distant from everyone else. Logic even more in his no man's land, but will be pushing to go further up the field. I think this is a push lap, just judging just by the body language of the car. Absolutely pushing the wheels off of it. I'm gonna be honest, it's extremely sad that this game has bugs when it comes to, ooh, and that's wide, and I don't think that lap counts anymore. I think that was completely wide. Don't think it's just gonna register it as an improvement. Also, Domska goes back up to P2, robbing Ferrari from that 1-2. But still ahead of the Jordans, who have not improved yet. Have a look at them after Logic crosses the line. From P8, where does he go? Does it count? Question? I don't think it counted. I think he went too wide. He's setting up for another lap immediately. Dustin pushing. Gerald Smith pushing right behind him. Let's see a Bennett in the wall there, but it's not that big of a deal in sim racing, thankfully. The way we organize this league, I think there's at least other games we can have rules against resetting to pits, but here it's very difficult to enforce. So with a little lock up into the last chicane, now the last corner. Where does it put him? He goes very close to that wall just to minimize the distance to the line. Save him a little bit, and he improves to second place. That's a solid improvements. They're still half a second behind Alan Fry, who has a chokehold on this entire session. Nobody can touch him, it seems. See how he does it actually from the cockpit. You can see, by the way, from this perspective, you can't see too much what's directly in front of your car. Still see a little bit over it. I think it's worse in modern cars. I think you sit a little lower. At least this is roughly what you see. Just incredibly smooth through here. Using the throttle as much as the car will allow. Of course, if you just push it too far, you might spin the car, the wheels will spin at least, you will not get the traction that you want. And you lose time, maybe even the whole car. As we come to the end of this lap then. Only 3 minutes left to go in the session. At least one of the apexes on the chicane. The last one I think might be better to miss because you get a bit of traction. Is he setting up for another lap? Very, very possible. This one is not an improvement. I think we were looking at a setup lap from him. We'll see his new time appear on the scoreboard. And he's ready for it as Randers comes across the line as well. On the start-finish straight right now. Could be a setup lap. I think that's exactly what it was. We're pushing now for an improvement and the time is ticking. 2 minutes and 35 seconds remaining. Means that if you drive out now you will get a shot. But not too much more than that. Domska will be able to drive out now and go for it. JJ will also need to try and improve. Domska is in fact driving out, so we'll get more times at the end of the session. Let's quickly have a look at the map. You do see a lot of cars. There's one car actually ahead. I kind of want to know which one it is, but you just cannot tell, to be honest. Dustin is currently pushing. JJ is in sector 1. We're going to keep our eyes on JJ, I think, but Gerald Smith, where is he? Oh, he's coming across the line, actually. Quickly see where he ends up. So P5, 2, nothing. He didn't improve. This will be essentially his last chance, and maybe he gets an extra one. But it will essentially be his last chance. Dustin then, does he improve? Goes across the line, doesn't improve, nearly matches his time, but it's not an improvement, and that's end of the session for him. So what does JJ do then? Logic and Silver also end of the session for them, not able to improve. Logic with a very nice position. Would have maybe really wanted to mingle in with Michael and Randers, but didn't quite make that. JJ does have things to look forward to, but he is a little bit down. Doesn't seem like this will be an improvement unless he really sends it across the chicane. I think it will try, but could just be setting up for an extra lap after this. I don't think this time is going to set anything alight. It's 3/10 off, and maybe he keeps driving and we'll get another chance. But as it stands, Alan Fry looks to have a very good sight of that pole position. I don't think he's going to let go of that. Randers maybe setting up for a last lap, or is this... No, that was setting up for a last lap. And there he goes. A lot of people, I think, are struggling to really put a lap together. That's the problem with Suzuka, to be honest. It's easy to set a lap. I mean, it's not easy. It's tough to set a good sector. It's nearly impossible to set, like, a perfect lap. A lap where you improve on every sector. That's very, very rare. Alan Fry on his last run. Domska is also on his last run. But JJ is finished. Dustin is finished. And Gerald Smith are all finished. So Alan Fry, unless Domska comes out with the best lap in his life, will have full position. And is also still driving. We've got Cuckoo coming out of Sector 1. HGM, where is he? End of the lap. I'll come across the line in a moment. Let's see where he ends up. P11 now. Where does he end up? P10, overtaking Cuckoo. Well, that's something. That is definitely not definitive. That could change. Arnerick also retires, stands in P13 at best. So we've got Randers then. Last lap of the session. Where is he gonna end up? Trying to push that exit. Little bit of wheel spin, but he corrects it very nicely. Close to the wall. Minimize the distance. Where's he ending up? P6 overtaking Michael. Actually, closing up very nicely to the top. Very nice P6. MV also P9. I don't think he's... Well, I think that's the AI driving. Who would be driving still? It's Cuckoo. Across the line. P12 it is. PC Finch. He's driving into the pits. Alright, so that is the final standings then. Alan Fry with a dominant performance. So dominant, I don't think he could improve his own time. Very, very nicely done from Alan Fry. Domska in P2, followed by Dustin, then JJ, then Gerald, and Randers in a very, very impressive P6. We've got Michael MH7 in P7, as it should be. Got Logic in P8. Lima V in P9. I think he will be happy with that. It's a very competitive field today. Silver in P10. HGM in 11th. Cuckoo in 12th. Got Arderick in P13. Manfred in P14. Game Tiger in 16th. And PC Finch rounds of the grid. It wasn't able to improve that last lap, unfortunately. Yeah, very impressive sides there from Alan yet again. Quickly have to figure out how to do the start, because I think we're going to stick in trackside, even though it's going to glitch a little bit. I think that's going to be the plan. I think you can also... maybe we can switch cameras manually. Maybe that will help. I think this is a good place to sit. Hope you're all ready. You have to run now if you want to get a drink. I'm quickly going to take a sip of mine. Alright, let's see what this race brings up. Ferrari with a pole position will need JJ to beat Dustin for that Constructors' Championship. And Dustin and Gerald will be doing everything in their power to prevent that from happening. And let's see what happens in strategy. Of course, remember, at the end of the race, we should have rain. Light rain, in fact. That's gonna really change things up. Alright. Start of the session. Lights go out. And we are racing. See a lot of drivers trying to take alternative lines. Good start from Alan Fry, who maintains the lead, but Domska is right there on the inside. And Domska overtakes Alan Fry. Alan Fry having to settle for what is currently P2. But JJ, crucially, in P3 has overtaken Dustin. I'm going to quickly switch back, but Domska now has to defend for Alan Fry. Alan Fry re-overtakes, and Domska, ooh, on the gravel. Does he hold on? He does. Very brave start from Domska. Very impressive overtake, but unfortunately, Alan Fry is simply in another world with his skill level, it seems, and immediately re-overtakes. So we do have challenges from Michael, who's looking ahead, looking at Gerald Smith, trying to do Ferrari a little favor, if he can get past. I think he thinks better of it for now. Also needs to look a little bit. His mirror logic is still right there. Quickly gonna go trackside just to get a good look at what's really going on. All the teams are very nicely sorted together. Only Domska a little bit out of place in the top 7. Also going slightly defensive against Game Tiger into that corner. Oh, look at how close they are to each other. Looks like it doesn't have the best exit though. Need to worry about the guy behind. Oh, maybe. Silver is on his tail. It's a little bit far away though. There's no move there to be made. Game driver. Oh, so close to Cuckoo. Cuckoo struggling in the first corner it seems, but holding on for now. Just have to get into the rhythm and hold that. Look further up. I do see that Alan Fry has probably. Ooh, as Silver tries to take advantage of a mistake from Game Tiger, but not able to get the car rotated enough to make it past. Ooh, and there's contact. Ooh, Game Tiger spins out. They hit each other. Silver straightens them out again. They both get overtaken by HEM, who avoids all of that. And very, very weird driving, but mostly survived. JJ does start to catch up to Domska, it seems. It's mostly that Alan Fry is driving away. JJ does benefit from the slipstream a lot. Looking on the inside then for the chicane, late on the brakes. Later is Domska, who goes maybe a little bit too late. Ooh, but the switchback doesn't work like that. JJ has to settle for now. Although, good exit, good slipstream, a lot of speed. Defensive, Domska goes around the outside then JJ. Ooh, and he goes a little bit wide. Around turn 2 then, it's not possible. Domska holds on. He's defending this position like his life depends on it. But honestly, it's probably the best way for him to secure a good finishing position. JJ will really want that position because, of course, it means if he holds P2, it's definitely going to be a championship win for Ferrari. I think as it stands, that is also the case. It's even better to, of course, hold that second position, just because it's second position and it's better than third. We're trying very, very hard for that. And for now, able to hold on. Michael still putting pressure on Geralt. He's gonna keep on keeping on for a little bit, I think. Ooh, as Manfred. Ooh, Manfred makes a mistake and is in the wall. Where are we on track? Really quickly, let's look at the map. Ah, that's Degner 2. Very easy to make mistakes in Degner 2. Keep that in mind. It's back on track again. Hopefully the damage is not too severe and it can keep going. It's in the wall. Hopefully, no further damage. It was a bit rough, but yeah. Is how it is. JJ, again, very, very close to Domska. Immediately goes defensive this time, but JJ able to pull alongside. Let's quickly have a look, and I think he's around the outside, and he's ahead this time. Into the S's ahead of Domska, and that is a Ferrari 1-2 on track right now. And as it stands, they have a hand on the Constructors' Championship trophy. I found a nice little fix for the glitches, but unfortunately, turns out I didn't. It was an illusion. Michael still close to Geralt, but these three still forming a little bit of a train. Very close to each other, but not really able to challenge each other as it stands. So what happened to Randers? I'm just noticing he's very, very far behind. I think Manfred is standing still. Might be retiring from the race, unfortunately. Maybe there is some hardware issues there. Yeah, Randers in P14. Should have pretty well in qualifying, and something must have happened to drop so many places. And so much time mostly, but the pace is good. The pace is like excellent, but unfortunately the position is anything but. So, there was Silver also very, very close behind Cuckoo. Slipstream is decent, but not strong enough to pull you that far. unfortunately. Seems to have a very good control of the car though. Trying to chase and make things happen. Small mistakes for Cuckoo there, going wide, and that's all Silver needed. Only one invite, and in the party he goes. And that's an overtake. Cuckoo tries to defend it, but nothing to be done in the darkness. And that is P8. Very nice job. Going to see if this is going to develop into serious battle, and I think it will eventually, but for now I do think it is simply, well, the driving in their order, doing their pace, and that's about it. Nothing wrong with that, of course. Alaric, though, very close behind Game Tiger. I think this is for points. We do go points all the way down to 12th place. So this is indeed for championship points. Small mistake from Game Tiger, but I think Alaric also got caught out a little bit by the dirty air. We do have a longer brake distance in the dirty air. Not able to close in though, nearly as much as he would want to. Game Tiger struggling a little bit with the brakes, but maybe also traction. All the game is incredibly buggy today. Alaric is getting closer. It is tantalizingly close. Ooh, later on the brakes. Who's going? All he has to do really is patiently wait for a mistake to happen. Ooh, and that might be it. Very wide. But at least when you go wide, you have a decent exit. So he's able to use that and still ahead as a result. It's getting closer, and it's not the greatest of exits from Game Tiger. Alaric is close. Not quite using the slipstream though. Looking around the outside as Game Tiger straight up goes defensive already. Into the chicane, then no good for now. Game Tiger simply has a better exit right there. Oops, not fight to bet a little bit. Michael is threatening an overtake on Geralt. Don't think he's gonna get close enough for one for at least a little while. Game Tiger are still fighting. So far, this is the most consistently close fight that we have got. I think things have heated out a little bit, but this race is of course not over. We are simply in the beginning stages. 7 laps in, 8 now for the leader of the race. We'll quickly go and visit Alan Fry, a man on a mission to win this race, like he has done on 5 other occasions this season, trying to make it number 6. We also want to do the fastest lap in Curly. His pace is incredible compared to most of the rest of the field. Solid job as we are used of him. Seems to not be struggling with anything here at all. unless something goes very, very wrong, it just seems a formality that he is to win this race. It's not a formality, it's the fight for P4. That's very, very serious, in fact. Tomska's still strong in P3 though. JJ has passed and ran away. Tomska is very strongly in P3 right now. I also say the gap that Alan is pulling to the rest of the grid is super impressive. Lap 8 and already nearly 10 seconds ahead of the next driver is a very impressive feat. Alaric is also still close to Game Tiger. These two will be fighting things out for a little bit. In the slipstream, we're looking on the inside, but honestly there's not much to gain there yet. Just in the mirrors saying, hey, I'm here, I'm trying to take your position, please be scared and make mistakes for me. Game Tiger's holding things together as it stands. And to do alternative lines, try and rob Arderick from as much slipstream as he can. A lot of smoke. I think he's lighting up the rears a lot. Hopefully the tires don't bite back later, but Arderick seems to have a somewhat better handle of at least this SS section. It's quite a little bit closer, which is not enough to overtake. Very cautious through the Degness. Still having their own little battle. Is it Michael? He gets so close to Gerald, but never close enough, it seems. Now in the slipstream there, though, through 130R, maybe at the chicane he's getting so close. This is in range for a lunge. Is he gonna do it around the outside, maybe? Late on my brakes, but it is closed off. It's not quite the exit you want here either. He's threatening with an overtake, but it's never quite there. Slipstream is keeping him in touch though, and Gerald has to look more backwards than forwards. It makes it difficult for him to try and catch Dustin. Tomska's also doing an excellent job holding that P3. You've got a Dustin chasing you. It's anything but easy to try and hold on to it in this fashion. The camera does severely struggle with maybe some sections of the track. I don't know. It's insane. Tom's got doing an excellent job today. Put it in chase so we can see the cars. Michael is so close to Gerald. This is basically like any mistake from Gerald. And it's Michael's position. It's that kind of territory. But it doesn't seem to be able to force it by. That's fine. We're only 10 laps in. A third of the race done by Alan so far. We're not at the wet section yet. Although around the outside though, Michael is side by side. Ooh, there's a little bit of contact. He's not able to turn in. I think he cuts the corner here. Ooh, that is probably... Yeah, he gives that position back. Wasn't really given the opportunity to turn in. But I think it was all resolved very nicely. Hard but fair racing. P6, it's still for him. Dustin is getting a little bit away from this fight. Not at rapid strides. I thought it was Cuckoo, but it's actually Silver getting a little bit close to Logic, who are actually starting to see Michael and Gerald fight. Got a little bit of a train for P5. Loose train. They're not quite close to each other yet, but it's getting there. I want to check on Michael and Geralt getting close to each other. It's getting feisty again, but this exit every single time Geralt just seems to have to jump on Michael. I feel like there's opportunities here, but it's hard. It is so hard to get things right on this track. Defense has as many options as the attack to try and thwart the attack, essentially. There's inside lines, there's alternative lines that give you good exits. And as a defense, you are the one setting it all up. You know, you get to place your car first, so the driver has to respond. Makes it very, very difficult to really finish that overtake. Michael's threatened it a couple of times, but has never been close enough to solidify it. Also using his rears a little bit to get the exit there. We do have a very close fighting from Silver as well behind that. Logic defending that P7. Good pace from Silva, actually. I think he was fighting Cuckoo earlier. He's now properly ran away and is now fighting another car up ahead. We're very happy with that. So Michael gets close, not close enough. It's the same with Silva. He's got a better exit this time, but I'm not sure if it's better than Geralt. We're still able to put up a defense. Which is not close enough though. For Michael. Has to settle. Silver, it looks almost identical. The cars look different, but the situation is extremely similar between these two battles. Silver can get close. He can maybe barely get alongside, but the getting past is a whole different story. We do see Randers has excellent pace, I have to say. Unlucky start, it seems, being all the way down to 13th. But that lap was the second fastest lap that for a round. Currently P13 and catching PC Finch for P12, which will be a point in the championship, of course. I don't think that's what Randers wanted today, but that's what he's getting, unfortunately. He's got the slipstream on the dust. You can see the dust fly up, and that is a solid overtake even before turn 1. Randers up in P12 into the points. Also, I think that ahead of him will be... Is that Dustin? I don't think that's Dustin, no. Dustin is currently at the end of the lap. I think it's a completely different driver. We'll see. I think it's Game Tiger. Yeah, it was Game Tiger. It was having an even more unfortunate... Oh, that was 3 minutes a lap. It's unfortunate. We have lost 2 drivers. I think one of them was... Manfred, was it? I think that was his name. The other Jaguar. Other than HGM, that is. He's currently in P10, doing a very decent job. We quickly want to check. I think the fight for P... Ooh, actually, hang on. Brr. I wasn't paying attention for a little bit. Geralt Smith has now been overtaken by Michael. Michael has made it. I wish there was a replay feature because I've missed it. But yeah, there you go. Geralt's struggling maybe a little bit. Maybe the car is heavier. Well, Michael is doing an excellent job today. I think he has good pace. Will he be able to catch Dustin? That's something to look forward to. Logic is catching to Geralt. Silver, same thing. The other driver we've lost is unfortunately Mafi, who I think was doing a decent job. Something must have happened there. But he has followed, so thank you very much for that. These 3 in 8. Some close battle, and Michael, if you want to check the lap times, Dustin 31.2, Michael 31.4. Okay, Dustin is still faster. but as not secure, and Logic is getting very, very close behind Gerald Smith as Michael makes a mistake, and oops, 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 there is Gerald. Hopefully for him, no damage to his car or tires. So if so, Gerald will maybe be able to retake that position. Problem for Gerald is, can you see it nicely, but Logic right behind. If you are in Gerald's position, you want to look forwards, but you need to look backwards. So you're in a Sauber sandwich. It's not a pretty picture to paint, for sure. We've unfortunately lost another driver to the void. It was someone who was within the points as JJ stops, makes a pit stop, finishes his stop in fact. I think Alan either had a bad lap or has also stopped. I think Alan has in fact stopped. Made his pit stop already. JJ has done the same. So these seem to think, or assume, that the conditions at the end will not be bad enough for intermediate tyres. It's either that or we mess up the weather settings again, because it seems to get a little brighter, so it should be heavy cloud all the way until the end, where it starts to rain. Arderick also goes into the pits. HGM, I think, also just exited. Fighting in the back, they are making strategical calls because Cuckoo might be vulnerable to an undercut. Something to look out for. Dustin still out there. I think hasn't stopped yet. Gerald also hasn't stopped yet. I think everyone except the Ferraris and some of the people nearer the back. Randa's also in the pits right now. Does emerge. Is it ahead? Near PC Finch, but it is still ahead. I think that's Domska flying past them. Ooh, small mistake from Finch, but keeps it together. Very nice. Logic also in the pits. What's Cuckoo doing? Cuckoo is staying out. Michael getting closer to Dustin, it seems. Yeah, by a second last lap, in fact. That is very, very much. That's not it seems, but that is Michael getting closer, in fact. You see the Benetton of PC Finch. Get out of the way of some charging, well, peak drivers, I guess. I mean, Dustin, we know, has had some very good results this season. Sometimes the only one to challenge Alan, or one of very few. Michael showing up today, though, with a very solid race pace and doing a very good job so far. P4 in the race, nothing to sneeze at. We'll try trackside and hope for very few glitches. As we do see the pit stop box at the... Okay. I don't know what's wrong with my MS2 version. As I think... Wait, hang on. I might be able to see this better. I thought I saw a few drops, but that might just be my imagination. We'll have to keep a lookout for that. Check out... I think we are starting to see very, very early signs of rain. Maybe. It might be my complete imagination, and I might be going mad, as I think Edward Silver says a very bad word in the chat, which is allowed. We do not. We condone that kind of behavior. unfortunately has also exited out of the race. That's who I was missing. That makes sense. I think somebody else left. Wait, who left? Oh no! Guys, where's JJ? We're now down to 12 drivers. Silver disconnected, and JJ has also disconnected. Is that a crash? What happened? We need to know. What happened? I'm gonna open the Discord chat. Maybe we'll get an update. But JJ has exited the race, and that means that Ferrari is probably not going to get the championship. That is a disaster. Alan Fry will try to keep driving and do his best. Michael also coming into the pits now. Dustin is still driving. Gerald Smith is still driving. So it looks very good for the Jordans. JJ is typing in chat, so we'll have a little bit of an update. But I think we do see some very early signs, and I think the rain is starting to happen. Michael has decided to pit just. This is probably for slicks, right? Because it's probably way too early to go on anything else. Alan Fry has just stopped and might have to stop again if the rain gets bad enough. I'm not sure how bad light rain is. It used to be... I need to apologize for bad words. It used to be... It used to be the light rain basically did nothing. And then they patched it to make it do a lot more. I'm not quite sure what the state is of it now. So some drivers may have tested it and judged that actually light rain is completely fine. But 10 laps in light rain sounds like a lot to me. And it sounds to me like if you haven't stopped already, you do have an advantage. Cuckoo hasn't stopped yet. Michael is right behind. So Cuckoo could have a ticket to B5. If everybody has to stop again, looks like a possible P5. And I think we also might be seeing sort of the unraveling. We had, I think that's Arderick. Yeah, standing the wrong way around. Must have had a little bit of a spin. Not sure what's happening there. Tiger's still a little bit behind. So Michael had a very good pace earlier. But we might be starting to see an unraveling where Michael may have gambled for a shorter first stint, therefore put in less fuel. But I think a couple of people, that will be including Dustin, that will be including Gerald Smith, and I think Cuckoo as well, and maybe Domska? Maybe they put in heavier fuel, or more fuel. The fuel is the same weight, but same density, but put more of it in. Allowing them to carry on for longer and to immediately switch on a one-stop to intermediate tires, perhaps. That's my theory. I'm not sure if that's true, but we'll see. As it stands right now, Alan Fry has a very, very strong first stint, so he can afford it. But Michael, I think, might lose out as a result. Cuckoo is defending still. We'll be on a lighter car as well, don't forget. Later in their stint, planning to stop. Domska is now stopping. I'm not sure what tires Domska is going to go on. We'll not be able to see it. We'll just kind of have to guess by the pace, fortunately. Michael is looking. Sure if that's a subtle complaint for weaving. Decides to back out here. Doesn't have the best of exits. With a very strong defense, it seems. Easy finish, I think. We've had a little bit of an issue, but lets people by very nicely. We've only got 11 out. JJ also got kicked out, it seems. That's tragic. Michael, ooh, on the offensive against Cuckoo then. Going defensive. Michael, ooh, tries it. I think it was locked out and wasn't ready to accept it quite yet. Goes on the grass, but the car is saved. A little bit far behind now. Will not be able to challenge yet. And also, Logic is catching up. They didn't quite realize it, but Logic is actually very close to this fight. And this is not a two-way fight, this is a three-way fight. I'm not sure if these two are in a voice chat. I can maybe check. They might be in a voice chat together, but Logic is muted, so... might be receiving something, but will not be able to confirm anything. And there's also other drivers in there, you know, so... not perfectly secure communications anyway. Yeah, Michael currently very close to Cuckoo, but Logic, his teammate, chasing him just as hard. Looking at Degner, but Degner is scary to overtake. I don't think I've ever done it. Not there anyway, not into Degner 1. It is simply too risky. I think we've also lost Arderic, unfortunately, in the standings. We're standing backwards. Oh, oh, and there's a collision. Oh, and Michael crashes. Immediately resets the track, which I think is okay. But that was very unfortunate. I don't think you can put anything on Google there, but a little touch on the rear wheel completely destabilized his car, and it's a crash. I hope the car is okay for him. It looked pretty... you probably have a couple of points of suspension damage, and that's what that looks like. Immediately into the pits. Let's see what happens for him. Ooh. Yeah, I think there's a lot of damage not being able to control the car that easily. That's what that looks like. And now it's Logic's turn then. A teammate. I feel like it was the perfect storm. Cuckoo is a very strong and patient defender. Knows exactly how to play the car behind. I've told stories earlier in the stream about having a very long battle. You have to be so patient. I think we've seen earlier in the season that Michael is a very aggressive driver and not exactly patient on the attack. I think that might be what got to him in the end. Ooh, but that's a very strong contest from Logic, and I think Cuckoo has to accept that. Very, very nice move. I think Cuckoo simply missed the corner a little bit, and the rain is properly turning this track into a little bit of a stream. And Dustin is in the pits now. I think this is the moment where we'll see the first people switch to wet weather tires. Gerald Smith is also in the pits. These Jordans have done their homework, and Alan Fry is gonna have to stop again, probably for new tires, or risk losing the race in a fashion only Lando Norris will be able to tell you about. But his pace is still good. It's a 131.6 last time around. Is the track really not getting that much worse? Cuckoo is also in the pits. Oh, but look at Alan Fry going wide there. The track is definitely affected. Is Alan Fry gonna be able to hold on after the pit stop? Lost a little bit of time. Might still be fine. Looking at the gaps, is probably still fine. Is he gonna box immediately, or does he think he can keep going? Let's see what he does. He keeps going. Alan Fry thinks he can weather this storm. It's not exactly a storm, it's light rain, but almost literally. Domska also doing 134s now. That seems to be the new pace of those still running the slick tires. What is Dustin doing though? What is Gerald Schmidt doing though? What are the Jordans up to in terms of lap time? The tires look completely slick, but they will look like that either way. We do not know exactly if they have intermediates on, wets on, or still are on the slicks. We'll just have to guess by the lap time. This lap will be a little bit slower because it is pit exit. We'll be able to roughly judge. If this is also 134, we are looking at faster Jordans. Well, let's see what this lap time is. It will be a little bit... Yeah, 146 doesn't look too spectacular. Geralt will be similar. So we'll have to see next lap if they are actually faster. Domska 139 last lap. Ooh, that is perhaps a problem. Dustin now 49 seconds behind. 50 is still too much in the sense that if Alan decides to box now, he'll probably stay in the lead and win the race. The real question is, are the slicks faster or are intermediates faster, and what have the Jordans done? Alan Fry decides to keep going. I think that he believes he can keep racing in the light rain on slicks. I'm not sure what Dustin and Geralt have decided to do. Seem to be driving just fine, car seems stable enough. Who has decided to stop earlier also? We have to keep that in mind. We'll get data from them too. But Dustin seems to be falling back actually. Everything added up. Alan Fry, last lap around here it was around 51, now it's 55. It looks to be a 4-second deficit. Oh, and that's a mistake from Gerald Smith. Oh, is that Gerald Smith? No, it's Game Tiger, I think. The other yellow car unfortunately made it to the wall, and those tires do look like wets. So I'm not sure if the game has been fixed in that regard. It looks like he's driving on the wets. Regardless, there was a bit of a crash. Still a couple of laps behind. I don't think it will affect the results too much. That's just how it was. Someone at 143 last lap. Oh, and he's missing the corner. No, that's sorry, the other yellow car. They look identical from the back. What am I supposed to do? Gerald Sweet also makes it past Game Tiger, unfortunately. Yeah. They don't seem to be fast enough. Domska does seem to be seriously struggling. I'm not sure what tires he is on. How is Alan doing though? Alan has now also decided to pit. I think Alan may be calling it a lot better than other drivers. I feel like the Inters weren't quite ready. It was too early, I think. Out of pits he goes, and that will still be in the lead for him. And we do have a couple of back marks in between, but Dustin, I think, is catching Domska. And I think that's pretty quickly. I do think we're gonna have the Jordans challenging for the 2 podium positions. To say 2 and 3. Currently only P3 claimed by them. Alan Fry has now exited the pits, still well ahead of everyone else. You see the driver in between. I believe that's Randers. Quick check. No, it's not Randers. Randers is staying out. It is Domska that's going in. Domska has decided to pit and has handed 2 and 3 to Gerald Smith. And where's Logic? Logic is a bit further back, so I don't think he'll lose that position. Cuckoo is quite close to Logic still. So P2 and P3 have been claimed by the Jordans after Domska decided that at this moment it's simply too dangerous to keep driving on the slicks. It's not even worth defending. And as a result, Jordan 2-3. Oh, and Logic goes into the pits. Cuckoo is staying out. Cuckoo has already boxed for the intermediate tires, it seems. I think it's intermediate or wet. We're going to call them intermediates. And Logic is now also deciding to switch. Michael has fallen quite a bit behind. I think he had to. Yeah, he had to stop again after taking damage. I think. It was after the crash earlier, and Cuckoo in a very solid, very respectable P5. Boxed early. I'm not sure if it was the perfect call, but it was a lot better than driving longer than Alan Fry did, because I think the lap after that is when people really started to struggle. Domska was nowhere, was being caught up and had to box, and Logic also got caught up by Cuckoo and also had to box. Logic currently in P6, Michael a little bit away. HCM doing an excellent job today as well in P9. Rander's good recovery drive was very far behind after the first lap, but caught up decently to the rest of the grid. As I say that, it's going completely wide through that corner. PC Finch, I think, had a bit of bad luck here and there. Same for Game Tiger, but still going. Very respectable. We are coming towards the end of the race, and Alan Fry has once again shown us that he is perhaps by far the best AMS2 drivers we've ever seen. At least in this car, he seems to control it excellently. Very few drivers that have been able to challenge him. He stood off the podium only twice this season. Off the top step of the podium. He stood on the podium every single time, only conceding a second place to Dustin's own race in Germany, and a third place in Indianapolis, where Gerald Schmid actually went for the win. So both Jordans have won a race, and I do feel terrible. It might have been that if JJ had stayed in, he did already box. I think it's very possible that JJ would have finished 4th, and Ferrari would have lost the World Constructors Championship. The Constructors Championship anyway. I think that's possible, but I would have liked to find out for real, and it's very unfortunate that he unfortunately disconnected. I'm not happy about that. This game does have some connectivity issues like that sometimes, and I do really seriously hope that they fix it. If there is someone from Rise Up for whatever reason watching, please, that should be the #1 priority, because it's very unfortunate that people lose races like that. That's not what we want to see. But the Jordans did have the better strategy than the Ferraris, it seems. Only one stop. It was a very, very long stint, the first one. But it paid off. The track did indeed get bad enough for you to need to get off those slick tires. Alan Fry found out a little bit later, but just in time for him to retain the lead. And what a lead it is. It is not just in this race, it's in this whole championship that he's been the man to beat, winning every single race except only 2. Both of which races he still stood on the podium. Incredibly consistent. Finishing every race on top of that. Can't forget that. In this game it could be hard enough. A little bit of luck with the connectivity, of course, but as it is, proving to be an incredibly strong driver. Challenged by few and nobody today. Alan Fry is simply on his victory lap on this beautiful circuit of Suzuka. Currently slowly getting wetter and wetter. You can start to see the puddles forming. There's one that gets really big in Sector 1 somewhere, but I don't think we'll see it in that form. I don't think we have seen it in full at all. Yeah, Alan Fry on his victory lap, getting to the way back around the spoon curve, a big long 180 that sends you straight back to the start finish, where he will be receiving the champagne and the trophy for his 6th win this season. There's nobody that can stop him now, virtually. Only his ISP, I think, gets in between him right now. But it seems to be perfection for Alan Fry today. Pole position and driving to a beautiful race victory for Ferrari. And that's Alan Fry on the top half of the podium. We will not get tired of seeing it because it is just so impressive. He takes the checkered flag. P1 for Alan. Dustin is a little bit away. He will also be taking another podium this season. Let's actually quickly check the results. I don't know off the top of my head. But he has had a good string of results. 4 podiums in total. This will be his 5th, his 3rd second place. He got 1 win in Germany. But 2nd place in Suzuka is very respectable and will be securing the Constructors' Championship. Gerald Smith, full formality in P3. Very nicely done as well. Very good season from those 3. And JJ as well. A big shout out to JJ, who unfortunately was robbed of an opportunity to take the Constructors' Championship. Domska though today, very impressive performance. Unfortunately the strategy wasn't quite right. But P4 it is still. We'll be very happy with that, I hope. P5 though for Cuckoo, who looked to be struggling early, but I think we found out why. Was on more fuel. It has paid off. It was simply the better strategy, it seems. P5, very well deserved. Michael has already finished. I thought he disconnected, but has already finished, is standing still. Cuckoo, I think, is the last person to finish. Michael P6, Logic 7th, ATM 8, very nice lead on from him. Randos Video, very good recovery in P9, and PC Finch and Game Tiger, round of the finishers. And a couple of non-finishers, of course, and JJ, which is tragic. Arderick as well. We've got Manfred as well. And Silver, of course, Edward Silver. Actually didn't make it to the end. Apparently Dustin had himself fueled up to 27 or 28, but I think they stopped a little earlier. Oh, size gave in. That was the problem. So they stopped a little early, not because that they thought that was the point where intermediates would be faster, but because they had to, because the tires were giving in. That's very interesting. There was a couple of penalties, actually. Does it change anything? I don't think so. I think everybody's still where they were. A couple of penalties, probably for speeding in the pit lane or track limits. But yeah, that's it. If you have been enjoying this, thank you so much for joining me. Don't forget to follow if you haven't already. I do hope to do these streams more in the future. This series will be going on a bit of a hiatus. It will probably be back with other F1 cars. Same drivers, same stories. Will we see Alan Fry dominate again? I don't know. We'll see. And hopefully, we'll see how things turn out. But I might be streaming it. So, thank you so much for joining. And, have a good night.